strange and charmed ones. I was recently over in my favorite new Facebook groups for planners, and I had posted a picture about some stickers that I had recently created for myself that I had made using the Avery transparent labels. And I got a lot of requests from you guys to show how I made these stickers. Now, I actually happen to use like a professional program called Adobe Photoshop. You may have heard of that before. So I really don't expect that you guys are all going to have that or know how to use it or any of that. So I thought that I would create a tutorial today to show you guys how to create stickers for yourself, like your own custom stickers, using a normal word processor that you most likely already have on your computer. So I have the word processor called Pages. So I'm going to bring that up. That is an Apple program, an Apple application. And I just want to bring up a template for just a plain blank template for an actual, like a document. Like if I was going to go and write a document, like here, like I can write a document here, as you guys can see. So I am going to show you guys like a method that's similar to what I do in Photoshop, but on this program so that you guys will be able to do it as well. So there are a few steps that you're going to need to know before, while you're kind of getting ready to do this, actually creating your own stickers. So the first thing is that, like I said, you're going to need a word processor like Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word, Pages from Apple. There's a lot of different word processors out there. You're going to want to choose one that allows you to work with images in the document. Okay, so that's really important. Like I said, I use Photoshop, but that's an expensive program, and I don't expect that many of you out there are actually going to own Photoshop. Okay, so the second thing you're going to need to do is actually choose images to use for your stickers. And this is going to be completely personal preference up to you. And I've actually already gone ahead and kind of pulled some images that I found on the internet: an ampersand, a pink star, a pink heart, and a skull. This is really just to give you guys an example, but you guys can choose whatever images you want. Now, I do have a couple of suggestions for the types of images that you should be using. I would suggest, if you're searching for a specific symbol like a star or a heart or an ampersand or a skull or a balloon or a butterfly, whatever you're searching for, when you put it into the image search, like in Google image search, I would suggest searching, instead of for pink heart, search pink heart vector. Now, you may have heard this term vector before. It actually is a term that refers to images that are created for the web and, off the web and things like that. And if you're not familiar, what a vector image is basically an image that's been created in such a way that if you were to blow it up really big or shrink it down really tiny, it still scales exactly as it should, like it looks true to form. A lot of times you guys may see a JPEG of a picture, you know what I mean, and pull a picture offline and then maybe go to print that image, but maybe it's too small, you try to blow it up and then it gets pixelated. Vectors don't do that. Vectors are already naturally scalable. So my first actual tip to you would be to search for vector images, okay? Second, when you're choosing your images, I highly suggest choosing white backgrounds. The reason for this is because it'll blend in better with your document as a whole. As you can see, all of the 4 images that I had pulled here are all white backgrounds or no background, transparent background, which is great as well. But you need to have at least a fully white background to try to keep this even, okay? So I think that's kind of important. And my third tip for choosing images to use as your stickers is to really avoid using images that are too busy or include different sorts of complicated textures or effects. For example, if you're trying to create a sticker that has a glitter effect on it, a lot of times when you print the look of glitter, it doesn't come out right. It looks really pixelated and it just looks messy. And there's really not much you can do to change that. So I would just say stick to simpler images that are like shapes, things that you can really have a really defined look to them. So it's like kind of, you know, how we've got here, I've got 2 black and white images. You're not going to be able to mess up that ampersand or that skull, which is a vector, which means I could blow it up huge or I could shrink it down teeny tiny and it's still going to look great. Okay, so once you have your images chosen offline, wherever you're finding them from, what you're going to want to do is just go ahead and throw them into your document. I'm going to get rid of that for now. As you can see, these guys are all really, really large. So what I'm going to do is select them individually, and I'm going to bring them down. And I'm actually, just a tip, I'm actually holding the shift button as I change the shape of these so that it scales instead of, let me show you what you could technically do. Is this automatically scaling? Okay, it's automatically scaling with this app. But if you were to pull without, in some word processing sorts of applications, if you were to pull, it would actually distort it completely. So the first thing I'm just going to do is just take these images and shrink them to like a way more manageable size because they are really big. And you see how all of these are scaling down beautifully. There's no like pixelation, and I'm going to try to make them all about the same actual size. Ah, come on. What are you doing, dude? There we go. He wasn't letting me select him. And then let's work on the star. Okay, and so for this, I'm not going to actually show you guys. I'm going to try to make this look like a full sheet of labels. For example, the full sheet of labels that I showed you guys yesterday were this. I hope you guys can see it because I actually can't see what is in frame and what's not, but you can tell I've got a whole bunch of different symbols, and I've even got some words and some sort of boxes for labels and stuff all created out on here. So I'm going to, now that everything's on there and scaled to the right size, I'm literally just going to line it up, okay? So I've just got these 4. We're just gonna do the 4 for now. And I'm just gonna select them. They're all lined up evenly. I'm gonna copy and I'm gonna paste. Okay, and then I'm gonna take these and bring them down. Okay? Now, the reason I'm using this grid format where everything's in rows and everything's like lined up is because it really ends up helping when you go to cut these out. So, you know, these are not going to be, you're printing these out on the Avery label sheets, which are these. Here we go. So these are the Avery clear full sheet label for inkjet printers. You don't have to use the Avery brand specifically, but I will go ahead and leave a link to this down below so that you guys can see where I bought it off Amazon, super cheap. You buy them like kind of in bulk and it's great. But you can use any sort of full page or full sheet of label. I choose the clear background, the transparent background, because when I go to cut these out, it doesn't really matter what shape I've cut them out. If I've cut out a circle in like a square, it doesn't matter because the background is clear, so it kind of just blends into the paper anyway. But you can also get these full sheet labels in all white. But then again, the edges on the outside will be white as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. So let me just keep going. All I'm doing is continuing to hit paste and continuing to line these all up down my page. You guys can see this is really simple, really not much to mess up here. Okay. So now I've got, you know, most of the page filled up this is just an example for you guys to show you guys how to do this. So the next thing I'm going to do is I want to go to my print and I want to look at my print preview. Awesome. Okay. So you guys will be able to see here, hopefully you guys can actually see my mouse. Hopefully it's tracking it. There is the layout and it's showing all of the icons and they're all laid out very well. So what I'm going to do is before I print on an actual label sheet, because they're expensive and, you know, not really expensive, but, you know, you don't want to print and then have an error and then they get messed up. So I like to print one out. Let's see what it's saying here. Is there quality options here? Media and quality. Yeah, that's fine. Normal quality. I'm going to make the quality best because I want these to be as good as they can be. I'm going to use these. Theoretically, I'm not actually going to use these, but you would want to make sure that you're printing out the best quality possible. So my printer's down below and it's just thinking about printing right now. Okay, so here is my example of my printout. And if this was all the right size that you wanted and everything looked good, you could then go ahead and put in one of the label sheets and print to the label. Now, I'm not going to be able to give you directions on how to physically do that because everybody's printers are different. I happen to have a duplex printer, so my printer does all different sorts of things, but it's a little bit more expensive of a printer, so I don't expect that everyone would have one. So yeah, but you print it out, follow the directions on your labels and how you would normally print, because obviously the labels have one side that's going to be the label and then the back side is kind of just like the sticker to peel off. So you just want to make sure that you're keeping that in mind when you're putting those in. So these are just kind of very basic things that I'm just trying to reiterate so that I make it clear in the video, so no one, if anyone does have a question, I just want to make sure I'm covering all my bases. Now, once you've actually printed these out, like I said, they're going to be a full sheet like this, and it's not like normal stickers where you're going to be able to go and pull each individual one off, obviously, because it's one full sheet of label. So like I said, I like to use like a paper cutter, and I will go ahead and cut these down to size. Now, I actually happen to cut these down, and I'm going to show you what I did with the ones that I made yesterday. I've got them here in my planner already. They're in the front in their little area. Okay, so like I said, just going to do this for visual reference. This was the full sheet of what it looked like. This is obviously my printed image that I just, the proof that I used. But once it came out on the full sheet label, what I did was I then went with a paper cutter and trimmed it down into little individual sorts of sticker sheets. This is just my personal preference to do this because then I can go ahead and stick it in my planner and I've got them with me. But I will tell you, I have seen other people use other sorts of methods where they've actually cut out all of their stickers, like everything was cut out individually. And specifically, I'm thinking of right now, Annie. If you guys watch Annie Sugar Panda X3, I think she's going through a rebrand right now, and she's actually called Papered Love. So I want to make sure I throw that in there just so you guys don't get confused. But Annie, who does great Filofax videos as well, she is someone who also prints her own stickers. And I think it was in a video about, I think it was her Erin Condren life planner video where she shows that she actually cuts all of her stickers out and stores them in this is like a genius idea. She stores them in like a plastic, almost like a caboodle with all different little compartments. And that way she can keep stacks of each of her different stickers and they're all organized. So that's another way that you guys can, obviously store your stickers. Obviously you can keep them all in one full sheet as well and just cut out as needed. I just find that taking those extra steps, either, putting them in the smaller little, cutouts that can fit in my planner, or doing what Annie does, where she actually physically cuts them out and has them all stacked up so they're ready to go when she wants to use them. I think those are awesome ways to organize your stickers when you've done them yourself. So yeah, you guys, I hope that this was helpful to anybody who had questions about making your own stickers. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down below in the comments. But I do want to make one little remark, I guess, is that although I'm very good at technology and all that stuff, obviously, I don't know how every program works. Like I said, I normally do this in Photoshop, but it's easy enough to do it in a word processor. That being said, I used Pages, which is an Apple word processor, and you might be using Microsoft Word. So there's going to be variations between all of your different programs that you could be using. So I'm not going to be able, unfortunately, to walk you through any tech issues that you guys have. So what I would suggest is, if you want to do this and it's in a different application and you're pulling it up and you're having trouble, you may need to do a little bit more research on that application itself. So I'm sorry that I can't be more help in that department, but I feel like I know I'm going to get a bunch of questions about, oh, this thing wasn't lining up right or whatnot, and I honestly can't help you because I don't use that program. Instagram. And like I said, I have a Mac, you might have a PC, like you might have a Linux, you know what I mean? Like I don't even know what word processor out there for Linux. Okay, now I'm going off topic. So I hope you guys will understand I'm not really able to walk you through those sorts of things, nor am I going to be able to walk you through how to print. I would just suggest taking the directions for your labels and for your printer and figuring it out from there. I think, I'm sure that most of you are going to have no problem with this, but I know I'm going to get some questions that I'm just not going to be able to answer, and I just don't want you guys to like feel bad that I can't answer them. You know what I mean? So again, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you guys make all the most beautiful stickers in the world. Of course, if you do, I want to see them. Like, I seriously want to see them. So make sure you upload a picture to Instagram and tag me at MissTrenchcoat. If you don't use Instagram, put them on Twitter, again, at MissTrenchcoat. And I'm also on Snapchat as MissTrenchcoat. So if you guys want to follow me on Snapchat and send me a little Snapchat of the stickers that you're making, I would love to see them. So if this video was helpful, make sure to leave it a like, and of course, subscribe for more awesome videos by me. And until next time, you guys, see ya.